I was the middle child in a family of 5 kids. As a young person, I didn't think of myself as a scientist. I never really wanted to be a scientist. I liked being outdoors a bit. What I really liked doing, I drew. I wanted to be an artist, I think, is really what my idea of the ideal life would be, that if I could just spend all of my time drawing pictures. I also found that I liked school, I liked math, I liked knowing things. And the central thing that happened in my childhood or my youth that made me want to be a scientist was that when I was 15, one of my biology teachers had read about a National Science Foundation program where you could leave home in the summer and go off to study at a real university. And she convinced me to apply to this program. I applied and I was accepted to a program in Lawrence, Kansas. It was from Birmingham, Alabama. This seemed like far away. It was like this great thing. And so I got on a train, because they still had trains back then in the States, and my folks said goodbye, and I went off to Lawrence, Kansas, and spent the summer studying biology. And I went back there actually for 2 summers in a row. And I think just that exposure to science and exposure to laboratories, and I think also maybe the most important thing of all, exposure to other kids who were interested in science and who could get excited about the same things, convinced me that this was really what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be, somehow I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to, I didn't know what part of science I wanted to do, but I knew that when I went off to the university that I'd continue to draw and paint pictures and do artistic things on the side. I do have this very strong visual sense. I understand problems when I look, for example, at embryos, I see the problem more than I think it. I go into the lab every day because I know I'm going to be able to look at embryos. And every day when you look at them, every day even when I look at I make a movie of an embryo, and I've seen this movie maybe 20 or 30 times, or I show it when I give a talk, and I stand up on stage and I look at this movie, and I am amazed, as amazed as the audience when they see these things that go on in embryos. It's still an extraordinarily beautiful, mysterious process. It's very rich. I think I had the great benefit as a scientist when I was young to have discovered something, a question that I wanted to answer, that interested me. And I think that's one of the first things you can wish for any scientist, is that they discover something that's important that they want to do. I had the second great benefit that what interested me turned out to be really hard and really complex and really rich. And so it's a problem I've never solved. I don't really understand embryos, and so I can still go into the lab every day with the same great enthusiasm, because of the question and the complexity is still out there. And a third great benefit, that as a scientist, that was what interested me, but as a person, I was able to somehow connect those scientific questions to the personal things that I love in life, which is this whole looking at things, this visual aspect to my character, this artistic sense, if you will.